This is Change Your Mindset Podcast, the podcast that helps change your life by helping change the mindset of the 99% into the 1% mindset. Here's your host, Adrian Gomez.
Welcome to Change Your Mindset Podcast. I'm your host, Adrian Gomez. Stoicism. What is Stoicism? Thousands of years ago, there were men, philosophers, who actually understood life. They were the most wisest men of their era. And what they have to say, a lot of it nowadays, is relevant. It actually makes people, men, to being better, to improving themselves, for they can actually understand themselves. So I'll tell you what Stoicism is. The private diaries of one of the Rome's greatest emperors, the personal letters of one of Rome's best playwrights and wisest power brokers, the lectures of a former slave and exile turned influential teacher. Against all odds, some 2 millennia later, these incredible documents survive. They contain some of the greatest wisdom in the history of the world, and together they constitute the bedrock of what is known as Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that was once one of the most popular civic disciplines in the West, practiced by the rich and the impoverished, the powerful and the struggling alike in the pursuit of the good life. Except to the most avid seekers of wisdom, Stoicism is either unknown or misunderstood. To the average person, this vibrant, action-oriented, and paradigm-shifting way of living has become shorthand for emotionlessness, given the fact that the mere mention of philosophy makes most nervous or bored. Stoic philosophy, on the surface, sounds like the last thing anyone will want to learn about, let alone urgently need in the course of daily life. It would be hard to find a word that dealt a greater injustice at the hands of the English language than Stoic. In its rightful place, Stoicism is a tool in the pursuit of self-mastery, perseverance, and wisdom, something one uses to live a great life, rather than some esoteric field of academic inquiry. Certainly, many of history's great minds not only understood Stoicism for what it truly is, they sought it out. George Washington, Walt Whitman, Frederick the Great, Adam Smith, Immanuel Kant, Thomas Jefferson, Matthew Arnold, Ambrose Bierce, Theodore Roosevelt, William Alexander Percy, Ralph Waldo Emerson. Each read, studied, quoted, or admired the Stoics. The ancient Stoics themselves were no slouches, such as Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, belonged to, respectively, a Roman emperor, a former slave who triumphed to become an influential lecturer and friend of the emperor Hadrian, and a famous playwright and political advisor. What have all these and countless other great men and women found within Stoicism that others missed? A great deal. Primarily, that it provides much needed strength, wisdom, and stamina for all of life's challenges. So now that you have an idea of what Stoicism is, I'm going to tell you 10 Stoicism lessons men need to learn before it's too late in life. Lesson number 1, acceptance of what you cannot control. So let's go back in time for a moment to the bustling streets of ancient Rome, where Stoicism flourished. The Stoics, like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius, understood the futility of fretting over life's uncontrollables. They taught that while we cannot command the weather, stop the clock, or control others' actions, we can master our reactions, our thoughts, and our decisions. Fast forward to today, and this lesson remains just as potent. In our hyper-connected world, bombarded with information and endless shoulds, understand that we can and cannot control. Is not just wisdom, it's a survival skill. So how do we apply this ancient wisdom in our modern lives? It starts with a simple, yet profound shift in perspective. When faced with a challenging situation, ask yourself, Is this within my control? If it's not, imagine placing it in a balloon and letting it drift away into the sky. This mental practice is not about giving up. It's about investing your energy wisely. It's choosing to water the plants in your garden rather than trying to stop the rain from falling. I remember a time when I was caught in a great lack of traffic, anxious and frustrated about an important meeting. It dawned on me then. I couldn't control the traffic, no matter how much I wished, but I could control my reaction. So I took a deep breath, turned on some soothing music, and used that time to mentally prepare for the meeting. The result, I arrived calm and centered, turning what could have been a stressful ordeal into a moment of peace. Lesson number 2, the power of perspective. Stoicism teaches us that it's not the events themselves that disturb us, but rather our interpretation of these events. Imagine two men stuck in a downpour. One curses the rain, while the other enjoys the soothing sound of raindrops. Same event, different perspectives. The Stoic philosophers, like Epictetus, emphasize that we have the power to choose our perspective. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters, he said. This wisdom is timeless. In our current world, full of unforeseen challenges and rapid changes, the ability to shift our perspective is not just valuable, it's crucial for maintaining mental peace and resilience. So how can we harness this power in our daily lives? It begins with a conscious pause when confronted with a challenge. Take a step back, ask yourself, is there another way to look at this? Just like a photographer seeks the best angle for a shot, we too can look for a more empowering viewpoint. For instance, seeing a job loss, not as a failure, but as an opportunity to pursue a passion or learn new skills. This shift in perspective can transform obstacles into stepping stones. Lesson 3. Living in the present. Stoicism beckons us to anchor ourselves in the now. Here and now is where life happens, where joy is felt, and where peace is found. It's a lesson many learn only when they look back and realize how much of life they've missed by not being truly present. Ancient Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, understood the fleeting nature of time. They knew that dwelling on the past or obsessing over the future was like trying to grasp water. It's futile and leaves you empty-handed. Aurelius wrote, "Do not waste the remaining part of your life in thoughts about others. Be content with the present." His words resonate more than ever in today's fast-paced world, where our minds are often elsewhere, not in the moments where they belong. How do we practice this in our daily lives? It starts with mindfulness, the practice of being fully engaged with whatever we're doing at the moment, free from distraction or judgment. It could be as simple as savoring your morning coffee, fully immersing yourself in a conversation, or just feeling the sun on your skin. By being present, we give ourselves a gift of experiencing life as it unfolds in its full richness and beauty. Lesson 4. Self-discipline, integrity. In a world brimming with temptations and shortcuts, Stoicism calls us to a higher standard, to be masters of ourselves. This mastery isn't about restriction, it's about liberation. It's about exercising self-control and aligning our actions with our deepest values. The Stoics were no strangers to the challenges of life. They knew the key to enduring happiness wasn't found in external accolades or possessions, but in cultivating inner virtues. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, taught that freedom and serenity are achieved not by satisfying our desires, but by controlling them. In today's context, this lesson resonates more than ever. In an age where distractions are a click away and ethical gray areas abound, the need for self-discipline and integrity is paramount. So how do we weave these virtues into the fabric of our daily lives? It starts with small, consistent actions. Choosing to wake up early for a morning run, even when the bed feels too comfortable. Opting for a nutritious meal over a tempting, unhealthy one. Making decisions that align with your values, even when they're not the easiest or most popular choices. These moments of discipline and integrity accumulate, building a life of strength, character, and fulfillment. Embracing self, discipline, and integrity is about not just dreaming of the person you want to be, but taking the daily steps to become that person. Lesson 5. Embracing change. While many viewed change with apprehension or resistance, Stoicism invites us to see it through a lens of growth and opportunity. This ancient philosophy teaches us that change is not just inevitable, but it is also the fertile ground from which new opportunities sprout. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, were no strangers to the relentless tides of change. They observed how seasons change without fail, and how empires rise and fall. Understanding that change is the universe's way of manifesting its dynamism. Aurelius and his meditations reflected on how life is opinion, shaped largely by our perceptions and reactions to change. Stoicism doesn't just ask us to accept change, it urges us to welcome it as an old friend, knowing well that it brings with it the seeds of new growth. In practical terms, embracing change means viewing each shift in our lives, be it minor or monumental, as an opportunity for self-discovery and development. It's about finding the silver lining in unexpected situations. Lost your job? It's an opportunity to pursue a career you're truly passionate about. Ended a relationship? It's a chance to rediscover your individual strengths and desires by embracing change. We align ourselves with life's natural rhythm, making us resilient and adaptable. Lesson 6. The futility of material pursuits. In a world that often equates success with material wealth and status, Stoicism offers a refreshing counter-narrative. It teaches us that true, lasting happiness doesn't stem from accumulating possessions or accolades, but rather from cultivating an inner richness. This is a lesson many learn late in life, after years spent in the relentless chase of material gains, only to find themselves standing in the midst of abundance, yet feeling an unshakable sense of emptiness. The Stoic philosophers, from Seneca to Epictetus, understood the fleeting nature of material wealth. They observed how fortunes can be made and can be lost, how even the most luxurious possessions could not shield one from life's inherent unpredictability and challenges. Seneca, who experienced both wealth and exile, profoundly noted that true wealth is not having many possessions, but having few wants. In our current era, bombarded by advertisements and social pressures, to have more, to be more, this Stoic principle of finding contentment in simplicity and self-sufficiency is more relevant than ever. How do we apply this lesson in our daily lives? It starts with a shift in focus from external acquisition to internal development. It's about finding joy in simple pleasures, cherishing experiences over possessions, and measuring success not by what we own, but by the quality of our character and our relationships. It's recognizing that while material possessions can provide temporary pleasure, lasting fulfillment comes from a sense of inner peace, purpose, and connection with others. Lesson 7. Managing emotions. Contrary to popular belief, Stoicism doesn't advocate for the suppression of emotions. Rather, it teaches us the art of understanding and navigating them effectively. It's a vital lesson that many realize too late. Mastering our emotions is not about denying them, but about acknowledging, understanding, and guiding them in constructive ways. The Stoics, with their profound understanding of human nature, recognize that emotions are an integral part of our existence. However, they also saw the turmoil unmanaged emotions can cause. Philosophers like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius advise not to be swayed by their tempts of feelings, but to stand firm, understanding their nature and impact. In today's fast paced and often stressful world, this Stoic approach to emotions is not just wise, but necessary. It teaches us to respond to life's ups and downs with equanimity and clarity. So, how do we practice this in our daily lives? It begins with self awareness. Recognize your emotions, name them, understand their triggers. This awareness is the first step towards managing them. Instead of reacting impulsively, pause and consider a response that aligns with your values and goals. Techniques like deep breathing, journaling, or even engaging in open conversations can be powerful tools in processing and understanding our emotions. Lesson 8: The importance of personal responsibility. Stoicism teaches us that while we may not control every aspect of our lives, we are unequivocally responsible for our actions and their consequences. This lesson, often learned later in life, highlights the truth many wish they had grasped earlier, that owning our choices is the cornerstone of a life lived with authenticity and accountability. Epictetus, born a slave and later revered philosopher, taught that our greatest power lies in our ability to choose our attitude and actions, regardless of our circumstances. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor, echoed this sentiment, emphasizing that our character is the sum of our choices. In our modern world, where blame shifting and externalizing a rampant, embracing personal responsibility is not just a Stoic virtue, but a beacon of strength and self-empowerment. In practical terms, embracing personal responsibility means acknowledging our role in our success and our failures. It's about facing the consequences of our actions with courage and learning from them. Whether it's in our careers, relationships, or personal goals, taking responsibility empowers us to affect change and grow. It's the acknowledgement that the key to our future lies in our own hands. Lesson 9: Value of wisdom and knowledge. The great Stoic philosophers, from Marcus Aurelius to Seneca, were voracious learners and astute observers of life. They saw wisdom as the highest virtue, a beacon that guides us through life's tumultuous seas. Aurelius, in his meditations, constantly sought to understand the world and his place in it, using knowledge as a tool for personal betterment and social contribution. In our current era, where information is abundant, yet true wisdom is scarce, the Stoic emphasis on discerning knowledge and reflective learning is more pertinent than ever. Incorporating this lesson into our lives means fostering a mindset of curiosity and an appetite for learning. It's about embracing the joy of discovering new ideas and reflecting on our experiences and seeking deeper understanding, whether it's through books, nature, art, or conversations. Every moment holds the potential for learning. Wisdom is not just about intellectual pursuits. It's about applying what we learn to become better human beings. Lesson 10: The strength in forgiveness. Stoicism teaches us that holding onto grudges and resentment is akin to carrying a heavy burden. It hinders our journey toward tranquility and happiness. Many realize too late in life that forgiveness is not an act of weakness, but a profound display of strength and a pathway to inner peace. The Stoics understood the corrosive effect of anger and resentment on the soul. Philosophers like Epictetus emphasize the importance of letting go of bitterness, not for the sake of others, but for our own well-being. Marcus Aurelius once said, The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injustice. In today's world, where grudges can be long held, and forgiveness is often seen as a surrender, the Stoic wisdom of forgiveness stands as a beacon of enlightened self-interest and emotional maturity. Embracing forgiveness in our daily lives means recognizing that every person, including ourselves, is fallible and capable of making mistakes. It's about understanding that forgiveness frees us from the chains of bitterness and allows us to move forward with our lives. Whether it's forgiving a friend who wronged us, a colleague who made a mistake, or even ourselves for our own errors. Each act of forgiveness strengthens our character and deepens our capacity for compassion and understanding. Stoicism offers timeless wisdom that can guide us through life's challenges. These 10 lessons can lead to more fulfilling, balanced life. And those are 10 lessons from 3 Stoic philosophers that probably can help any man. These men were obviously very smart, full of wisdom, more wisdom than I will ever have. More wisdom than majority of people in this world will ever have. But nowadays, people need wisdom, people need help, because these times are obviously very hard for majority of people, especially men, because we have a lot of men who don't know where to go in life, and a lot of weak and unfulfilled men, unfortunately. And these values that these Stoic philosophers talk about, majority of them I completely agree with, because that's how it is in the real world. They obviously study this, and they know human beings more than we know ourselves. I hope you found these 10 lessons beneficial to your life, and hopefully you can incorporate them and to make you a better human being. Because at the end of the day, you gotta be the best version of yourself. We can't waste this one life we get. One opportunity, don't waste it. Go out there and be one hell of a human being. That's going to be it for this podcast. As always, I appreciate your time for listening. Please like, subscribe, and share this podcast episodes if you found them beneficial to you. And thank you, Patreon member Blade262, for being a Patreon member. If you want to be a Patreon member and support the podcast, if you've got questions, comments, or topic idea you want me to go talk about in the next podcast episode, or if you want me to be your accountability coach, you can do that by being a Patreon member. The link will always be in the description below. As always, I wish you the best. Take care of yourself. Strive to be the best version of yourself every single day. Don't let a day go by and waste it. Take care and be safe out there. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Change Your Mindset podcast. Be sure to tune in every week for a new episode. As always, change your mindset to change your life.